Wow, that didn't take long, did it? It was just a couple days ago. We put up a video about a rapper named YG. YG is a gangster, member of a gang in LA, a black guy. He made a video that got over 1 million views in its different incarnations on YouTube, talking about how black people can and should target Chinese people for home invasion robberies. You remember that? I'll put a link to it up. I'll put a link up to it, but here are the first couple lines from his song. First you find a house and scope it out. Find a Chinese neighborhood, 'cause they don't believe in bank accounts. Scope it out, bank accounts, kind of rhymes. Anyway, the very next day, I mean, we've been doing these stories, and both of my books, White Girl Bleed a Lot and a lot more, and Don't Make the Black Kids Angry, how Asian people are targets of relentless black criminality, violence, robbery, murder, you name it. So the day after I posted that story about this rap video, this came out.
She exercised her right to defend her livelihood and property.
Watch as this Gwinnett County woman rushes from her bedroom, unloading all her bullets on the 3 men who kicked in her front door. It's the dramatic, newly released video from around 4 a.m. Friday morning. The woman, a local restaurant manager, is staying in a Spring Drive home with a housemate for work-related reasons when she hears the 3 intruders, guns clearly in hand. Police saying they came here for cash and met their match.
Did they shoot you? Yeah, they shoot me.
As they exchange gunfire with drywall debris clouding the dark home, one man runs through a glass door. The man in the wig dies of his injuries in the driveway, and the woman, seen here being consoled by that housemate who gently takes away the gun, lives to tell and show police what happened.
It's not common that we receive this caliber of surveillance video showing a crime unfold, an actual home invasion.
Now police need to find the 2 surviving suspects.
They're not wearing anything on their faces, so we highly anticipate that someone watching the evening newscast will recognize these people.
Okay, so we just saw a bunch of black people targeting an Asian household. The household is clearly some kind of it acts as a home office for the family business. I think it's some kind of restaurant. And so they targeted, they broke in, the Asian woman came out, shot back, killed one of them dead. That's not even close to being the worst example of this that was in the news yesterday. But before we get to that, let's take care of a little channel business, because I got a bunch of emails this morning saying one of the channels that mirrors this account, mirrors meaning they just take our videos with my blessing, and you could do the same thing, start your own channel, put these up. The account name was, I think it's ADI 80 space stones, 80 stones. 80 stones. I don't know what that means. Maybe it has a meaning. I don't know. I don't know who it was. I'm grateful they did it. There's another one out there that does it called Yellow Cat. I think they're still up. But it kind of gives us a message that, I do sense people, the bad guys are, we are circling our wagons because we are in the Badlands, and the bad guys are out there trying to shut us down at every opportunity, as they've already done a few times. Most of you guys know that. And so I'm always going to be on YouTube in some form, but we are going to slowly start to migrate to a website, probably my colinflaherty.com website or White Girl Bleed a Lot website. And so just remember, that's what we're going to do. And listen, if you haven't done, you notice on this channel, I don't do a lot of this. I don't do a lot of, hey, remember to sign up for my Facebook, my Twitter, all this stuff. Well, you know what? Now it's actually important, because that's going to be your easiest way to keep track of what we're doing here if by chance this video disappears. So at Twitter, I'm at colinflaherty.com. Facebook, I've got everybody on Facebook has 2 accounts, right? You got your personal and you got your kind of business. So my personal, I'm easy to find, Colin Flaherty on Facebook, and on the other one is WG Bleed a Lot, White Girl Bleed a Lot, WG Bleed a Lot on Facebook. Those are two easy places to find me. And right now I'm rejiggering my one of my websites to make it easy for you to catch up with me on email. But go over to whitegirlbleedalot.com and you can sign up for my email there. And I've also done one other thing, basically because dozens and dozens of people have been kind of saying, Colin, listen, we know what you're going through. We know YouTube will not let you monetize your channel. We know, it takes a lot to keep these videos going and to get the equipment and to get the people to help and stuff like that. So people were and are, and they're very generous. They help out with on my PayPal account. You can still do that if you want to drop a few ducats in the cup. My PayPal account is Colin@ColinFlaherty.com. But I'm also setting up a Patreon account. So it's set up. It's in the show notes. It'll be the first thing you see. So if you want to set something up where you can contribute a couple of ducats every month and to help us keep these videos going, that would be a fantastic way to contribute. Look, here's the fact is this. Not everybody can do everything they want to spread the word about this, about black on white crime, black criminality, black mob violence, and how it's wildly out of proportion, and how reporters and public officials, and now YouTube, ignore, deny, condone, excuse, encourage, and even lie about it. Not everybody can do that. If you have a job in a cubicle with a HR person kind of haunting around like a ghost, Halloween night, I don't think you should be sharing or spreading these videos. You could lose your job. I don't want you to do that. But if you're just so if you're worried about your job, that I understand. But if you come in and go, Colin, my friends don't like your videos. Well, I don't give a damn about your friends, okay? I give a damn about your job, not your friends. The Japanese curse is, may you have weak friends. If you have friends that resent you telling the truth about this enormous black violence and black criminality all over the country, well, your friends could be dangerous. I mean, your friends could get you into a position you don't want to be in by ignoring this enormous amount of violence. So everybody has to do what everybody wants to know. What can I do? What can I do? What can we do? Well, don't wait there is no we. It's just you. It's just me. We're all doing what we can. Everybody can do something different. So, but if you're a person who cannot, because of your job, like, share, subscribe, do all those things, that's fine. You can still watch these things. Maybe tell your relatives. But the way to help, if you're limited into what you can do, the way to help is to help people who are in a position to do something, like this channel, like me. So that means go to my Patreon, go to my PayPal, put a few coins in the tin cup. That's how you can help. A lot of people are very generous. I mean, I get boxes of cigars in the mail. People send me checks in the mail, money orders in the mail, cash in the mail. People put money in my Patreon account. They put money in my PayPal. That's all good. That's how we're going to keep this going. I mean, when I first started doing this, I thought it was just going to be, we're going to expose the media hypocrisy that won't tell us the truth about this black mob violence and black criminality and black on white crime. I thought it was kind of a media story. Then all of a sudden people said, Colin, you're saving lives with this information. You're opening our eyes. And by the way, this is a perfect example. I happen to know a lot of Asian people watch this channel. A lot of Asian people give this channel to their friends. But when I first started out, I had no idea of how really bad it was. Not just the black criminality, not just the black on white crime and black mob violence. Well, I had no idea how bad it was. But I also had no idea of how enormous the resistance would be to anybody who wanted to speak the truth in a plain fashion, without racism, without rancor, without apologies. That's what we do here. But the resistance to that is quite enormous. And so everything takes a lot longer than maybe it should be. That's why I don't really do a lot of PR, because I just want to focus on these videos. I want these videos to speak for themselves. And they do. And I'm really gratified with how people are really adopting this channel. They adopt these videos. And they're really using it not just to help expose the media hypocrisy, but to help save the lives of friends and family and loved ones. But even though whatever our goals are, whatever our intentions are, whatever we've accomplished, however noble it is, you guys know there's still some people who are just intent on shutting us down. And YouTube has shown it's way, way, way too eager to get into bed with these folks. If you guys want to send YouTube an email saying, okay, what's up with Colin's old channel, that'd be great. But the fact is, we don't have a lot of time here to waste on fighting YouTube. That's a deflection. Everything's a deflection except exposing the criminality and exposing the hypocrisy. Everything, causes and solutions are deflections. That's how we got into this mess. It's too easy to deflect. So we're gonna do what it takes to go to our own channel. That's going to take a lot of effort. That's going to take a lot of expense to expand it, to let people know about it, to expand my email, get a few more hands, professional hands here to help do certain things where we can be less vulnerable to these people who really are just intent on shutting us down and shutting down this almost, you know what? I almost said the word conversation. Now they've got me talking like them because there is no conversation on race in this country. I mean, that's the second biggest lie. The big lie is the hoax of black victimization. That's the biggest lie of our lifetime. But the one that's coming up on the inside lane and catching up quickly is the statement, Colin, we should have a conversation about race. That's a lie. Nobody wants to have a conversation. They want to badger us into accepting this black criminality as completely normal. And every day, I mean, how many times on these videos in the last couple of months have you heard somebody say, gosh, I've never heard of this happening in this neighborhood before. Well, this is happening more and more. And the place we see it even more than that is the hostility towards police. That is not just a war on police. That is a war on white people, on Asian people, on gay people, on old people, on young people, on a whole flock of people who don't like being victims of black criminality, but who feel like they have trouble speaking out. And that war is being conducted by a whole group of people who do not like it when cops catch black people breaking the law. That is a plain fact. That's what we're doing here. Very plainly, very simply, but it's attracting a lot of support. But for all the support we get, it's amazing like how little it takes to knock down this big structure every 12 months or so. So we're not going to let that happen anymore. Okay, so enough on that. So the bottom line is, if you want to help with my Patreon, Patreon's in the show description, easy to find, patreon.com/Colin Flaherty. Okay, so you've had your vegetables. Here's the dessert. We're talking about how the gang member from LA made a video talking about how black people can and should and how to break into the homes of Asian people. Check out this next story about just like 2 days ago. A couple days ago, they just busted up a crime ring, that responsible for at least 5,000 burglaries in the LA area. But they really, in this report, they really left out two things that we will fill in the blanks with right after you see this news story.
An organized crime ring involving gang members who burglarized thousands of Southern California homes shut down today. At dawn, 400 police officers descended on South LA, raiding nearly 30 locations, arresting 13 people linked to hundreds of home burglaries in 5 Southern California counties. NBC4's Patrick Healy live in Torrance for us now, the city that led this investigation. Patrick.
Carolyn and Michael, Operation Moneybags, they called it. The raids in South LA, actually some distance from the suburban neighborhoods where the burglaries occurred. Burglaries that investigators have linked to one South Los Angeles gang. Now, this massive series of raids this morning, pre-dawn, involves some 400 officers. Major concerted effort targeting some 28 locations, most in South LA. Law enforcement and SWAT gear from 18 agencies making tactical entries. When it was over, they reported arresting 13 of the 53 suspects who had been linked to at least 147 burglaries, possibly hundreds or even thousands more. We're told the investigators began nearly 4 years ago in response to the surge in burglaries that had then just begun. Torrance Police Sergeant Paul Kroenke said investigators were following up on a pattern they saw.
It was a group of individuals and from this gang that we noticed that were committing it on a continual basis, and they were being contacted all over the county, not only Los Angeles, but Orange, Ventura, Riverside, San Bernardino, and that's where we noticed the pattern.
We're all much more vigilant of what's going on. A lot of people have, cameras.
Here's a crime bulletin Torrance issued after a home burglary 2 years ago. The getaway car was a Jaguar. Police said the burglars often rented new cars and dressed nicely to better blend into suburban neighborhoods. They would often knock on doors or call home phones to make sure no one was home before going inside. Now, coming up in our next report, we will show you security video from a home security camera of two brazen burglars carting a large screen TV down a driveway into their waiting car curbside. Also, how some of the burglars may have tripped themselves up with their own boasting on social media.
However reticent the local TV news was to mention this. Thank goodness the Daily Breeze in Torrance, where I've spent a lot of time, Torrance, somebody had the sense enough to say, oh yeah, the people involved in these 5,000, can you get your mind around that? 5,000 burglaries? The people involved in the 5,000 burglaries are black, and they targeted Asian people. So the guy doing the TV story there didn't think that was important, either one of those things. How you find a house and scope it out. You find a Chinese neighborhood because they don't believe in bank accounts. In the story, it talks about how they go into a neighborhood, they look at the phone book for Chinese names, but they also look for Indian names, people from India. You know, people from India, they only have like 6 names over there. One of them is S-I-N-G-H, Singh, like Vijay Singh, the golfer. I said that to somebody the other day, and they scoffed immediately, saying, oh, Colin, nobody uses phone books anymore. Everybody gets a phone book on their doorstep, still. White pages and yellow pages. And so there we see this enormous, 5,000 homes, and you get the cop the cop. Okay, I'm on their side, but let's face it, you get the cop in the video going, well, we detected a pattern. I hope so. After 5,000 burglaries, there's not one stool pigeon inside these gangs. There's not one person who knows anything about anything. And you waited until 5,000. You had to wait for 5,000 of these things to happen. Oh, come on, man. It's like having a car crash at the corner of your house every damn day. Goes on for 5,000 times. And then finally somebody says, has anybody noticed we had a couple of car crashes up there? It's not a couple, it's 5,000. The Asian people are very hardworking, very humble. They don't like to go down to police stations and yell at people. You know what the Asian people do? They just think it's part of life in America. Black criminality is part of life in America. They've learned that lesson. But guess what? A lot of them are starting to unlearn that lesson. You saw the one story in the beginning. That woman came out with her gun. Asian people know they are targets now. More and more know they are targets. I hope I had a little something to do with that. I think I did. I think we did. But they know they are targets. But now a lot of people are saying, no, it doesn't really have to be that way. Good for them. There's another convenience store not too far from where from Torrance. I just saw it in the news this morning. I haven't looked at it. I just saw the headline where the owner of a convenience store shot at 3 people who tried to rob his store. They all got away. And so this is fantastic news that more and more Asian people are refusing to be victims. They're starting to arm themselves. They're starting to train themselves in how to use these weapons. I mean, we just did a story from Houston a couple days ago, right? Remember that one? The Asian clerk comes out, he's in the back, comes out, sees his buddy being pistol whipped, he pulls the gun out, boom. I think he killed 2 people, 2 got away. So that's great news, that more and more Asian people do not want to be victims, and they just don't care what made the black kids angry.